Hello and welcome to our letter of the day daily learning video. Today's letter is the letter M. Can you say M? M. If your name has an M, stand up. If your name has an M, stand up. If your name has an M, if your name has an M, if your name has an M, stand up. Well, this is the letter M, and M is for monkey, but M is also for mouse, and that's what we're going to talk about today. M is for mouse. We're going to read the story, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and we're going to do a cool science experiment with milk. Well, M is also for markers, and that's how we're decorating the letter M today. Now, I have an idea for you. You don't have to do this with your markers, but I took a lot of markers and I put them together with a rubber band, and then I took the tops off of them. I made sure the bottoms were all straight like that, and then I used those markers to make this cool rainbow on my letter M. So that's just one idea for you today. And that's what the letter M looks like. By decorating it, it helps you to recognize it later. It helps with letter recognition. Okay, so now that we know what letter M looks like, let's do some handwriting. Let's learn to write the letter M. To write letter M, you're going to start with a number 1, and then you're going to go back to the top, slide down, and walk back up, and fall straight down again. It kind of looks like 2 mountains, so I'm going to put some snow on top. So that's the uppercase letter M. And on the handwriting house, it looks like this. Make a number 1, go back to the top, slide down, walk back up, and fall straight down again. 1, down, and up, and down. Make that 1, it kind of anchors the letter. Go back to the top, down and up and down. Let's do it again. 1, down and up and down. Now you can just watch me. If this is preschool for you, just watch me or just try it on just plain paper. If this is pre-K or kindergarten for you, you might want to try it on the handwriting sheet. And any handwriting paper works, but you can get this handwriting paper free, and I'll put the link below for the grown-up at your house. Okay, so that's an uppercase letter M. And if the uppercase letter M looked like mountains, the lowercase one looks like hills. Just make a little number 1, trace back up and over 2 times. So make that 1 and then trace it and then go over like 2 little hills. So on the handwriting house, we're going to be downstairs because remember, this is a little letter and the little letters stay downstairs unless they're a teenager letter. And this one is not. This one's just a plain little letter. So make the number 1 and then go over 2 times. I'll make a couple more to give you a chance to try it. And if you have no paper at all, skywrite. Just write in the sky and pretend. The more you practice, the more it will stick later. So over 2 times. Okay, you can pause and practice some more. You can just keep going and maybe try those again for homework later. Well, that was how you write the letter M. We know what it looks like. We know how to write it. So now we're going to do some phonics and talk about what letter M sounds like. Before I do, though, I want to do a magic trick. I'm going to make my lips disappear. Abracadabra. I made my lips disappear. Let me do that again. Abracadabra. My lips disappeared. You try it. Can you make your lips disappear? Well, that's what you need to do to make the letter M sound, because letter M says, Good job. What does letter M say? Good. It kind of sounds like the sound I make when I'm eating my favorite food. That's our hand motion for this letter. Can you put your hand right here on your tummy and say, Well, what food makes you say, the most? What's your favorite food? On the count of 3, I want you to shout it out, okay? 1, 2, 3. What's your favorite food? Ice cream. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. What's your favorite food? Ice cream. Well, that food is what makes you say the most. What does letter M say? M says Well, that was our letter of the day time, and now it's time for math. And I'm going to show you something that makes me say Cookies make me say How many cookies do you see here? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 cookies. This is a Play-Doh mat. And so we're going to practice the number 3, but we're not going to use a pencil today. Instead, we're going to be using Play-Doh. So I'm choosing this color. What color is this? It's yellow. That's our color for this week, yellow. So I'm just going to take out some Play-Doh and I'm going to start rolling it like this. If you don't have Play-Doh, don't worry. You can share with me because I'm going to do this one for us on my Play-Doh mat. All right, so keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Do you think I have enough? Keep going, a little more? Okay, I'll keep going. I want it to be nice and long. Okay, you think that's about enough? A little more? Okay, a little bit more. Okay, I think, is that enough, do you think? Okay, well, let's try it. Let's try it and see. So we're gonna lay it on our Play-Doh mat. M is for mat. And we're just going to try to form it around, curve around, and around again to make the number 3. Perfect. So that's what a number 3 looks like. You curve around and around again. Now I think we should make some cookies. Let's make 3 cookies, okay? So to make a cookie, I'm just going to take a little bit of Play-Doh and roll it into a ball. And then I'm gonna smush it down. So there's one. Let me make another one. Roll it into a ball and smush it. Here's another one. Let me do one more. Roll it and smush it. Now we're going to put those cookies on this Play-Doh mat. So help me count. 1, 2, 3. How many cookies do I have? 1, 2, 3. Good job. And that's the number 3. Well, what color was the Play-Doh that I used? It was yellow, and that's our color for today. So if you're wearing yellow, stand up. If you're wearing yellow, stand up. If you're wearing yellow, if you're wearing yellow, if you're wearing yellow, stand up. Well, that was our color for today, and now on to our shape. Our shape for this week is the triangle. Can you remember how many sides does a triangle have? 3. How many corners does a triangle have? 3. Well, I'm going to combine shape and art today, and we're going to make a mouse and a glass of milk. So let's head over to the art table, everyone. For art today, we're going to make a little mouse, and we're going to be using some shapes. What shape is this? It's a triangle. Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to need 1 triangle. What shape is this? It's a circle. You're going to need 1 large circle. And what shape are these? They're circles, and you need 2 little circles. Now, I'll put the link below so you can get the printable. So all you have to do is just cut out the shapes but you could use any kind of paper to make one large circle. That's going to be the mouse's body, one triangle for the mouse's head, and two small circles, one at each corner on the top of the triangle. And there you have it. That makes a cute little mouse. Now I'm going to put some eyes on my mouse, and you could color your mouse too. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but you could. I'm using a pom-pom ball for the nose, but you could very easily draw the nose and eyes. Next, I'm going to be taking a toilet roll. Here's one right here, and I cut it in half like this. And I'm using this half to be the glass. And I'm just going to tape a straw inside. So there you have it. That's our mouse with a glass of milk. You could even make a cookie and add that if you'd like to, and a tail for the mouse if you want. Okay, now I'm going to come around and we're going to do some science together. Our science today is going to be pretty fun and pretty delicious. First, I'm going to fill these glasses halfway full with milk, and milk starts with M. Will you help me count the glasses? Okay, so here we go. 1. Okay, 2. 3. 3 glasses. We were just working on number 3. Next, I'm going to be using some cookies. Let me show you which kinds I have. I have chocolate chip cookies, and I have Oreo cookies, and I have vanilla wafers. And so I'm going to be using these, and I'm going to put them in the milk, and we're going to get to see if the cookies sink or float. That's called buoyancy. If something floats, it's called buoyant. So we're going to see what buoyancy these cookies have. But first, we're going to make a guess. And I will put the link below so you can get this prediction sheet. So the first cookie is the chocolate chip cookie. Do you think the chocolate chip cookie is going to sink or float when I put it in the milk? Is it going to go to the bottom, or is it going to stay on the top of the milk? Okay, let's guess that it's going to float, okay? You may have a different guess. You guess whichever you think is going to happen. What about the Oreo? Do you think the Oreo cookie is going to sink to the bottom or float to the top? You think so? You think it might float too? Okay, well, let's try the next one, the vanilla wafer. Do you think the vanilla wafer is going to sink or float? You think it might sink? Maybe your guesses were a little different from mine. You can guess whatever you want to. That's called a hypothesis in science. Now, the only way to figure out if we're right or not is to test out our hypothesis. So let's do that right now. I'm going to start with the chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to take one and put it in the glass of milk and make your guess. Don't forget what you decided. Do you think it's going to sink or float? All right, let's see if you're right. Okay, let's see. Looks like our chocolate chip cookie is floating. It's staying at the top. So our chocolate chip cookie, wait a minute. It looks like it's starting to sink a little bit. I don't know, it's still at the top. So we're gonna say it floated. So sometimes chocolate chips like to go down, but that one's floating, so that's pretty good. We might check it in a minute and make sure. Okay, the next one is the Oreo cookie. So let's try that one out. Okay, let's figure out if it's gonna sink or float. Make your guess. Look at that, the Oreo cookie floated. It's staying at the top. Okay, we have one more cookie to try, the vanilla wafer. So there it is. Do you think it's gonna sink or float? Let's see. The vanilla wafer is floating. It didn't sink at all. Let's take a look at the chocolate chip cookie again though. Yep, I was right. Usually the chocolate chip cookie goes right down. This one didn't go right away, but it did sink to the bottom. Now I want to talk about why that happened. When God created everything, he created everything with molecules, to have molecules. He created them with just a word. He just spoke and they were. But he made the things that he made with molecules. We can't see molecules, but everything is made up of molecules. Molecules are so tiny, you would have to have a magnifying glass to see them. That tells you how cool and creative God is. Well, some of the things he created have molecules that are tightly packed together. I'll show you a picture kind of the molecules tightly packed together. So when the molecules are tightly packed together, we say they are dense. And things that are tightly packed and dense sink to the bottom. Some objects have molecules that are more spread apart and they're less dense, and those objects will float. So the chocolate chip cookie had molecules that were really dense, and the chocolate chip cookie sank to the bottom. The Oreo and the vanilla wafer had molecules that were more spread out, and so they were less dense and floated at the top. Okay, well, that was a pretty fun science experiment today. Maybe you can try that at home. Now I'd like to read a story for you today. This story is called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. If You Give a Mouse a Cookie by Laura Numeroff. Illustrated by Felicia Bond. If you give a mouse a cookie, here, mouse, here's your cookie. He's going to ask you for a glass of milk. When you give him the milk, he'll probably ask you for a straw. When he's finished, he'll ask for a napkin. Then he'll want to look in the mirror to make sure he doesn't have a milk mustache. When he looks into the mirror, he might notice his hair needs a trim. Do you ever get a haircut too? He's probably going to ask for a pair of nail scissors to give himself a haircut. When he's finished giving himself a trim, he'll want a broom to sweep up. He'll probably get carried away and sweep the entire house. Look at him go. He may even end up washing the floors as well. When he's done, phew, he's gonna be tired. He'll probably want to take a nap. You'll have to fix a little box for him to sleep in with a blanket and a pillow. He'll get ready for bed. He'll crawl in, make himself comfortable, and fluff the pillow a few times. He'll probably ask you to read him a story to help him fall asleep. So you'll read to him from one of your books, and he'll ask to see the pictures. When he looks at the pictures, he'll get so excited. He'll jump out of bed. He'll want to draw a picture of his own. So he'll ask you for some paper and some crayons. Can you find the yellow crayon? That's our color for this week. When the picture is finished, and wow, he's a great artist, he'll want to sign his name. With a pen. Then he'll want to hang his picture on your refrigerator. If he hangs his picture on the refrigerator, that means he's gonna need some Scotch tape. You'll find the tape and give it to him. He'll put the picture on the refrigerator and stand back to look at it. Looking at the refrigerator will remind him that he's thirsty. So he'll ask you for a glass of milk. And chances are, if he asks you for a glass of milk, what's he gonna want? He's gonna want a cookie to go with it. The end. Well, I hope you had fun today. We talked about M is for mouse and milk and markers. You did a great job with the number 3 Play-Doh mat and making some cookies with me. We did a fun art project. I hope you get to do that with some shapes and a toilet roll for our milk. I hope you had fun, and I hope you'll come back tomorrow. What are we going to learn about tomorrow, Sue? Oh, that sounds like fun. Tomorrow, Sue says we're learning N is for night. Are we going to learn about all the things that you see at night, like owls and maybe bats? Oh, Sue, I can't wait. I'll see you then, everybody. Goodbye.